Good evening, my fellow Americans. My name is Nicholas Sarwark, and I'm chairman of the Libertarian National Committee. I agree with what President Obama said tonight. The state of our union is strong. But the state of our union is strong because the American people are strong. It's not strong because of the big government policies of the Obama administration, enabled by Republicans and Democrats in Congress. It's not strong because we're almost $20 trillion in debt incurred during both the Bush and the Obama administrations. It's not strong because we're taking over $1 trillion extra dollars in federal taxes away from hardworking Americans over the course of Obama's 2 terms. It's strong because the American people understand liberty, and they cherish liberty. They understand that this country was founded on a belief that every human being, every American has a right, a natural right, to pursue happiness in any way they choose, as long as they don't hurt anyone else and they don't take their stuff. If you're not hurting anyone else and you're not taking anyone's stuff, then it's not the government's business how you choose to live your life. It's not the government's business to tell you how you should live your life, to tell you that the way you live your life is illegal or wrong, or that you'll be punished or locked in a cage for it. That's what the American people believe in their hearts. That's the principle that this country was founded on, and that's the principle that undergirds the Libertarian Party. This November, there will be an army of Libertarian candidates from president on down, spreading that message of freedom, spreading a message that if you want to protect all of the freedoms of all people all of the time, the Libertarian Party is the only option for you. Mr. President, the American people don't want any more foreign wars. The American people are tired of spending our hard-earned taxes on fighting other countries' civil wars. They're tired of having our sons and daughters, our mothers and fathers die in other people's foreign wars. Our armed forces are there to protect America, not to act as the policeman for the world, not to get involved in civil wars in the Middle East. It's time to bring our troops home. Only the Libertarian Party candidates believe in bringing our troops home. They believe that a strong national defense is based on defense, not on foreign adventurism that cause lives to be lost for nothing. Only Libertarian candidates will bring our troops home from around the world. We'll stop fighting in these civil wars for other countries and restore America's position as a beacon of liberty, willing to trade with other people, willing to spread American values not through guns, not through bombs, but through individuals traveling to other countries. Mr. President, I think you understand this in your heart. Your administration has worked to drop the embargo on Cuba, to open up diplomatic relations again, so that individuals from Cuba and the United States can once again travel and meet each other, can interact, can spread their values and gain better understanding, not through force of arms, but through the power of individuals interacting with each other. This is a good step, and I would urge Congress and your administration to work on opening relations even more. The American people believe in open trade, in open interaction with other countries, and it's time that their representatives in government give them what they believe in. Mr. President, it's time to end the failed war on drugs. Libertarian candidates across the nation will be fighting to stop the war on drugs. We've spent trillions of dollars and locked up millions of young people, all for something that they put in their own body. Mr. President, as a former public defender, I've seen what drug addiction can do to people. But to a man, every single one of my clients who was wrestling with drug addiction never had anything made better by being locked in a cage for being an addict, for being locked in a cage for possessing a substance that wasn't approved of by the government. Drug abuse is bad, but the drug war is worse. It's time to stop this war on drugs that empowers law enforcement to trample our Fourth Amendment rights that we hold so dear, the right to be free from unreasonable searches and seizures. It's time to stop the war on drugs that empowers law enforcement to seize people's assets on the mere suspicion that the money may have come from some sort of drug-related activity and force Americans to prove that their money is innocent. This is highway robbery. It's legalized theft. There's no putting a fine point on it, Mr. President, and it's empowered by the war on drugs that your administration has continued to prosecute. It's nice that you and some members of Congress have suggested that we should stop asking about felony convictions for jobs. But the root of the problem is that what you put in your own body is a felony in the first place. That's what needs to stop, Mr. President. It's time for America to get back to its roots. It's time for Americans to fix our politics, as you've suggested. One of the ways to fix our politics is to recognize that a majority of Americans no longer identify with your party. They no longer identify with the Republican Party. They're done with your old parties. They're done with your old parties because your old parties have done nothing for them. Look at the omnibus bill that was just passed in December. A bloated federal budget that allows the politicians to not have to deal with anything before the election when the American people would be watching. That expands the federal debt to where it will reach $20 trillion. That continues to spend all of those tax dollars earned by hardworking Americans and put not only them in debt, but our children and our children's children for wasteful, bloated government programs. It's time for Republicans and Democrats to recognize what Americans already do. In a recent Gallup poll, 69% of Americans identified big government as the problem. Republican and Democrat politicians have only one solution to any problem: more government. The only people who support less government, who want to cut spending, who want to get government out of your life so you're free to choose how you want to live your life, you're free to choose how you want to spend your money, is the Libertarian Party. We're the only ones, and more Americans are waking up to that. Mr. President, Republicans, you should take heed. Mr. President, you've proposed executive action to expand background checks and engage in more gun control in the wake of the tragedies that we've recently experienced, in spite of your admission that those background checks would have done nothing to stop those tragedies, in spite of the fact that the statistics from your own Department of Justice show that gun violence is down in the 20 years since the expansion of gun rights in this country, that homicides are down, that all violent crime is down during a period of expanded gun rights. The facts don't bear out the idea that gun control helps anyone. In fact, it disarms people. It takes away their right to defend themselves and their families. Americans cherish that right. Mr. President, you and the Republicans in Congress should take heed. Democrats as well. The American people do not want to give up their right to self-defense, protected by the Constitution. Tread lightly on this one. Only the Libertarian Party stands for the full Second Amendment rights. We stand for your right to defend yourselves however you choose, because we stand for your right to live your life however you choose, as long as you don't hurt anyone and you don't take their stuff. The Libertarian Party will be presenting a fresh option to fix our politics. We'll have candidates on the ballot from president down to the lowest local office in 2016. We're here to give you a run for your money, Republicans and Democrats. We're here to show the American people that there is a party that believes in their values, the values of liberty and freedom, that believes in the American people and their strength, not in the power of government. The Libertarian Party is here to stay.